Should you lose weight quickly or slowly? Well, I would say it absolutely depends. Have you had a major health scare recently? Would you be benefited, therefore, by getting that excess body weight off as quickly as possible? Is that what your doctor has perhaps advised? On the flip side, what are the negative consequences of you trying to achieve fast weight loss? Have there been any ramifications of you doing so in the past? For many people, it can often lead to the adoption of very extreme strategies, things that aren't necessarily all that healthy nor sustainable. These are questions that you need to answer for yourself. Frankly, I don't wish to impose. However, I'm at least going to pose these questions and get the juices flowing. That said, if you deem that it's absolutely correct and necessary for you to lose weight very, very quickly here, I do think it's absolutely possible. That's the first thing I've come to tell you today, okay? There's a lot of people that will just accept that weight loss has to be £1 a week throughout their journey. For some people, £1 a week is quite excellent comparatively, but for many others, it's very standard, it's very average. I'm here to tell you today that you do not have to accept such a thing, especially if you're a beginner with 100, 80, 50 pounds to lose. Things can absolutely be faster than that for you. However, I think there are 3 things that really need to come together in order to actually facilitate this. That's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. Number 1, of course, you might have guessed this, is calorie consideration. Lots of new vegans, especially and plant-based dieters, seem to be under the impression that calories aren't all that important. Now, this is tricky because this is a message to a degree that I've echoed previously, and it's still my stance. I haven't changed my opinion on it one iota. There are lots of new vegans and plant-based dieters, lots of weight loss newbies who can merely fill their plate with many of the quote-unquote right foods, and the weight loss will be fairly easy, will be fairly automatic. That said, this isn't the case for every single person in every single situation. Developing some kind of consideration, some kind of consciousness, awareness around calories can really take your game to the next level. Now, does this mean you have to count calories for the rest of your weight loss journey? Folks, that's absolutely not what I'm suggesting here. In fact, what I do advise is maybe a 3 to 5 day trial run where you do indeed track every gram of food you eat, as tedious as it is. But this, for so many of you, when I've advised it in the past, has been very illuminating. People writing back to me saying, Ryan, I had no idea I was consuming so many calories or so many grams of fat out of my overall calories. I never knew my macronutrient ratios were this, this, and this. They're way off. I know exactly what I need to do now. So as I say, for many of you, this can be so illuminating. And then from this 3 to 5 day trial run, perhaps there are changes you make going forward with some concept of calorie density, but not needing to weigh out every gram of food you eat or anything that would drive one neurotic by any means. This can take your game to the next level. Do not deny that calories matter. I'll say it very clearly for those folks that haven't realized this. Calories matter. Yes, I know lots of medical doctors, lots of other vegan and plant-based influencers tell us to focus on eating the right foods. This is my message too. However, that doesn't mean that calories don't matter, okay? The 2 things can absolutely coexist, and they most certainly do. You must realize this. Number 2, acceptance that intense exercise is what's optimal. Yes, walking, yes, things like yoga and Zumba, these things can shed the fat. These things can get you to your weight loss goal, depending on what it is realistically. But these things can really help with weight loss. They have a low barrier to entry. They're perfect for beginners. There's a low risk of injury. So I love these more low intensity exercises. However, let's not kid ourselves here. If you want max weight loss, if you want max results, if you want to lean down in the fastest time possible and also develop a bit of a fit physique, you're not really going to get that fit physique from walking. You need to challenge yourself with some more intense forms of exercise, I would suggest. Things like swimming, cycling, running, team sports, martial arts. These things can get your heart rate to an even greater degree than something like walking. They can make the calorie burn, the total calorie burn of your workouts even greater than something like walking or yoga could. Now again, you can still have a poor run, can't you? You can still go and play a game of tennis and be very laissez-faire about it and not get your heart rate up all that much. But the capacity, the potential for a greater workout is there with these more intense forms of exercise. especially cardio. Weight training's okay, but especially cardio. So accept really that intense exercise is the way to go if you want fast results. And lastly, but most certainly not least, in fact, this might arguably be the most important of these three factors, is that your consistency must be impeccable. When you're a beginner, or when you're okay with losing, let's say, a pound of weight a week, which isn't bad for some people, a pound of weight is absolutely excellent. But when you're a beginner, you must, you can actually get away with the occasional vegan burger. You can get away with a bit of vegan ice cream and you can still lose weight at the same time. However, when the goal is fast weight loss, or if you're at like the sort of last 10 to 15 pound stage, your consistency really ought to go to a new level. It must. So question then is, right, Ryan, I got this, I'm already eating lots of things right, and I get this message every day as well, but the weekend comes, or Friday night comes, or you know, the game's on, or I have wine night with the girls, etc., etc., etc. These are common things I see all the time. And it rocks me, it throws me off my consistency here, it throws me off my healthy eating plan. What do? Well, first thing I'll say to you is consistency follows commitment. If you're very inconsistent right now, it's likely that your commitment is very wavering over the course of a day, a week, a month, and so on. So you have to find ways to build up your commitment. Ask yourself why you are doing this. Go and watch Forks Over Knives again. Watch a couple of this charming young British man's YouTube videos here, that Ryan Adams bloke, great guy, and really reinforce why it is you're doing this and how this will better your life. Get it down on some paper as well. Make those goals very clear. I don't like to do all the self-help, you know, sort of cliche stuff, but stick your goals on your fridge if you need to. Do whatever it takes to really fall in love with your why again. This will help take your commitment and therefore your consistency to the next level. We also need to set standards and be okay with saying no. Make those clear boundaries, make those sacrifices, miss those occasional meals out or trips if it's very early on in your journey here and you know you need to gather some speed, some pace here, build some consistency. We also need to focus too on the mental and emotional side of weight loss. This is really important with consistency. Are there limiting beliefs, bad habits of the past, a poor relationship with food? Do these things hold you back from being consistent day in, day out with your meals, with your workouts? If you've got an inconsistency problem right now, it's likely because there's something wrong with the mental and emotional side of your game, and that must be confronted. We can very much see weight loss here as this holy trinity of nutrition, exercise, and the sort of mental and emotional side. Where many people go wrong is they correctly focus, ironically, on nutrition and exercise. They, in many cases, tick boxes under those umbrellas, but they never really turn their attention all that much to the mind. This is very important. Work on the mind, treat the mind like you do those other two very important factors of weight loss, and your consistency will go to all new levels. I promise you that. 3 things you need to apply for max weight loss. Hope this serves you well, folks.
It's the single best thing I've ever done is work with Ryan. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true.
Hands down, you're the best decision I ever made for myself in a long, long time.